Hi everybody, welcome very much to the channel, Eso here, ready to read to you a Reddit post, which is basically appreciating Age of Empires 4. I appreciate you, so thank you for watching, leave a like and subscribe, and use the links down below to find me live on Twitch. Let's read and then discuss it. Playing all the betas, demos, and launch of other RTSs that we have the last weeks made me realize how good this game is, and I love this game. I think the game is really good, and I think a lot of people have a bad first impression, or somebody told them that the game wasn't good, the game was this and the game was that, but the game is really good, and I think it's an evolution of the RTS genre in a way that it is still challenging, but it offers a lot of quality of life feature as well, and I think the only thing that people can complain is that it's not so micro intensive, right? And that's like a choice. You either want your RTS to be more micro intensive or not, because I think the game is nothing that is like bad at the moment. Balance is really good except HRE, but it's still pretty beatable. It's not anything crazy out of this world, right? And I think for me the game could be a bit faster, either the units itself moving faster or like less downtime, easier time to take down structures, easier time to chase down villagers, but those are like very small things. 90% of the game is there and it's great, so let's keep reading. I'm not throwing shade at any of the other games, exactly. Actually, in my experience, AoE4 players and AoE3 players, we don't cheat on AoE2 on AoE2, my bad, but I've come to conclude that AoE2 players cheat on AoE3 and AoE4, so let's keep this positive, guys. Because I think, for example, Lucifer and Vortex, they moved to Stormgate, and I think they actually will do pretty well. I'm happy that they moved on to a game that they prefer, right? Age of Mythology, there are two that I've experienced the most. Both are fantastic games and I really like them, and I'm hoping them to do well. Stormgate in particular surprised me with how much I liked it, and it's still getting better, still growing up, right? And even if it's like great, the best game ever, it's two different games, right? Two different RTSs. Some people will play OE, other people will play Stormgate, some people will play both. It's a different experience, right? But exiting the AoE4 bubble and trying all these games expanded my perspective, and now I can appreciate AoE4 even more. Exactly. It's a great game, bro. One of the best games of this decade, I think. Because it's really good. It feels great playing it. Of course, you need to be at a decent level to be able to do what you want to do, but once you can do what you want to do, it's so good. The game, it's so good. It's way more than just micro and killing the enemy units, strategy, macro. Within the macro, there is tiny adjustments you can do. Do you go for fast castle and grab the relics, or you go fast castle and into units? So many different things. The maps are different, the textures, the sounds. But let's keep reading. Our graphics and art style. Oh, in the technical side, I think there will be not another game as good as AoE4 in the next decade. I mean, 10 years is a long time, but I see his point. I don't agree with the statement, but I see the point. It's like, it's really good, and it will be necessary another innovation to bring another game that it's better than this, right? Our graphics and art style managed to do the impossible task for a 3D game, to be both really nice to look and to being very readable. The detail on the terrain, buildings and units is just gorgeous. That's true, it's really good, but we need different boats models, because it's really complicated to distinguish Rus boats, Chinese boats for an example, but yeah, the aesthetic looks great. For example, on Byzantine, it's so cool, right? I think the maps look very good as well. And they did, like 6 months ago, they did buff the lightnings and the shadows. So that part of the game is really good. But the truly underrated part of AoE4 is the sound design. It's perfect, bro. I love it. It's really good. And we'll have here soon on the channel a voice line tier list for every civilization. It was a torture playing other games and the units spamming over and over the same two voice lines, bro. I said I'm live on Twitch right now. I told this to my Twitch chat because I was watching Vortex play Stormgate and he was playing Infernals, and I was always listening to not enough Lumonite, consistently. And then I was watching Viper playing AoE2, and it was unbearable. It was unbearable because It's just every single time you click the villager or military unit, they will say something, and then it gets mixed in the sounds of the game, really not pleasant. Meanwhile, AoE4, it was AoE4 with evolving languages, great detail, contextual voice lines, the directional sound, the war cries in battle, and the fact that your units sometimes chat with each other make them feel more alive instead of mindless drones that follow your every click. The adaptive soundtrack of every sieve, changing with the ages and rising or falling in tension in tandem with the match. That's great. When the fight is about to start, the music changes pace, or when the fight ends, the music changes pace to a slower pace. The adaptive soundtrack of every siege, okay, the mind-blowing ambience of the cities, sea, and forests, the way that even the alarms and menu music change according to your sieve and age. And the sound is not just good for the sake of being good. The sound design helps with gameplay so much. If I hear Ayúdame, that means help me, coming from north of my current position, then I can instantly know that my feudal French berry villagers are the ones that are being raided without looking at the minimap. I can hear the exact moment that my gold mine and at my left go idle and move those villagers to work instantly even before seeing the idle worker UI. Even the music can give me information about what building my enemy is targeting. If I haven't cleaned all the raids yet, or that I have no much time left to decap the sacred sites, some examples. Seriously, playing Stormgate and Age of Mythology after playing AoE4 and all the quality of life that its audio has was the equivalent of becoming blind. That's an extreme statement, but I see where it's coming from, right? And in the gameplay side, the macro and strategic depth of this game is the thing that I can appreciate the most after playing other games, and it could be better if more landmarks were available, and if certain sieves weren't railroaded to one strategy like HRE Fast Castle, but hey, people now discovered you can play feudal, but Mongol Tower Rush into trade, right? English before was like almost always 2TC, no, not 2TC. English, Longbow Rush, then 2TC, King, Fast Castle, right? So I think it can be even better, but there is a lot of, like, some people try to force the idea that AoE2 is better than AoE4 because it's more complex, and it's not really. They have more mechanics, but AoE4 I think has more strategic depth, especially because the civilizations and the units are more different and more unique, so you can make more choices that matter. But AoE2 is still a great game. I don't know much about it. It's just what people say to me about the game, and then I conclude. So, let's see what this person really likes about AoE4. Produce workers until the cap of workers that the game imposes. Is it safe to expect? Oh, okay, so he's contrasting AoE4 with what he didn't like in other games. Produce workers until the cap of workers that the game imposes. It's safe to expand? If yes, do it. You only have two types of resources with a fixed rate of income. Expand, I think that's from Stormgate, right? Expand them as they keep coming. You are stacking resources faster than you can expend them. More production. The maps are all the same and restrictive in movement. Scouting and decision making is reduced to scout. Are they expanding attack? Are they preparing an attack, turtle and make counter units? Are they turtling, expand or attack? That being said, Relic, you have a really great game, and we have to stop referring to Relic as in the solo company behind AoE4. There is way more companies. It's a IP owned by Microsoft, and I think Relic kind of lost its saying in the game. And I don't wish them anything bad. I don't know what was behind the scenes, but AoE4 came out unfinished. Command of Heroes 3 came out unfinished, so you know there is a pattern there, but I can't conclude much from it, right? So, Relic of a great game, you really did the heavy work and already in the most aspects of it. Why the chickens and horses on the buildings are static like plastic animals? Why can't you reduce a little bit the input delay so units are more satisfying to micro? I was talking about that. Why we can see our opponent name in the lobby? That would resolve because this problem, which is a lot of pro players that play in ladder and they stream and whatnot, they have to create Smurf accounts because most people will dodge them, so they can't play ladder. If you didn't knew you would play against Beastie or against Demu, you wouldn't dodge. You just play, right? So I agree with that completely. Why geometry is a completely pointless tech? Actually, I'm not informed about that. I cannot comment. And professional scouts, it's not useless. It's very, very specific. Why the units path so badly around gold mines, bro? I have stressed so much, especially Rams around gold mines, bro. Don't even care. Send them somewhere else. They will just bug around. And then they try to go right, and they're like, oh, I can't go right. Let me go left. And then they stop midway and come back to go right again. It's so confusing. Why can I rewind the can't? I think it's why can't I rewind the replays? Because it's not actually a replay. You knew that? The game is actually generating a new game from the information of the previous game. So it's not literally a replay, it's more a re-showing. So it can't go back because it's already rendering the next part. And why is spectator mode still bare bones and bugged? It's not bare bones. It has bones, not a lot, but it has a lot of bugs. Yeah, this really needs to be fixed. So I agree with the intention of this post. The game is great, and I think a lot of people took it for granted. A lot of people did not recognize how much the game grew, and because a lot of people be like, oh, AoE4 is dying. No, AoE4 is not dying. AoE4 was born dead, and then it resurrected itself through us, the community, and the developers. So AoE4 is basically a teenager right now. It was born dead, it took some time to come back online as a good game, and I think it really started when Ottomans and Maldians came out, and there was a lot of quality of life changes. We didn't have colors, we didn't have caster mode, we didn't have ranked ladder, water was completely different, right? Walls now work different. You can make a gate before the wall is made. Keeps were stronger, traps were worse. China was crazy. Sprinkles will delete your units, right? So the game came a long way, and I think people don't know that. So if you like the game, defend the game, quote unquote, or at least show others that the game is really good. Because to me, this is one of the best games there is because it's fun, but it's always also challenging, right? It makes you grow as a person. If you want to be good at this game, you have to grow as a person. You have to challenge yourself, be responsible, take accountability in your games and in your mistakes. You gotta be aware of the situation, scout consistently, know what type of gameplay are you comfortable with, know what type of seeds you're comfortable with. Because for me, playing AoE4 is more than playing a game. It's basically changing myself to grow in a way that it's fun, and then I can progress because I can get better in the game. I can have a bigger and better community on streaming and on YouTube as well. And I really want to appreciate the game and appreciate how beneficial it is for you as a person. And above everything else, it's a game, so it's extremely fun, extremely rewarding, and it's not empty reward. It's not a quick grab of dopamine. No, you gotta work your way until the reward. But the process is really good. The game looks great, sounds great, feels great. You have a lot of options to explore the game. And once you reach your goal, it feels great, bro. The first time I reached Conqueror 1 last season, it was awesome, it was great. It was a culmination of this big journey. It wasn't pay to win. I wasn't cheesing as well, which they did great work. They took a lot of cheese away from the game, and they balanced the game really well. So the game is really, really good. So give it a try if you didn't yet. Tell your friends and family. It's a great game, and I really enjoy Age of Empires 4. And hopefully more people realize how good the game is when they experiment other games that are not as good or not as friendly to you as a player. Thank you for watching. Leave a like and subscribe. Check me live on Twitch, and I see you next time. ESO in ESO 2 Empires. Surfing out. See you soon.